On Global News Express, Anambra threatens closure of 2,000 unaccredited schools. In business, NNPCL says 134 illegal refineries destroyed in 7 days. On the foreign scene, Indian communist leader Sitaram Yechuri dies after illness. United Nations says Israeli strike on Gaza school killed 6 of its staff. And in sports, Ghana to play AFCON qualifiers in Nigeria as Confederation of African Football rejects home stadium. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the News Express on Global Television. We're coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it is ready for the upcoming Edo State governorship election scheduled for September 21st, 2024. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu gave the assurance at a stakeholders meeting held in Benin City, where he urged all political parties and candidates to ensure a peaceful election by restraining their supporters from resorting to violence. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, announced that 35,000 personnel would be deployed for the electoral exercise. Meanwhile, with days to the 2024 governorship election in Edo State, the All Progressives Congress APC in Edo State Thursday morning threatened to boycott the General Abdulsalami Abubakar-led Peace Committee for the signing of peace accord by political parties participating in the exercise. Acting chairman of the APC in the state, Jared Tenebe, however, gave conditions for the party to partake in the peace pact led by former head of state General Abubakar. The position of the main opposition party is coming barely 24 hours after Governor Godwin Obaseki stated that the ruling People's Democratic Party, PDP, may not participate in signing of peace accord, citing alleged bias on the part of the Nigerian police. President Bola Tinubu has stated that his visit to King Charles III at Buckingham Palace was aimed at strengthening diplomatic ties with the United Kingdom. This was disclosed in a statement by the Special Assistant to President Tinubu on social media, Dada Olusegun, on his verified X account. Armed bandits in the early hours of today blocked the ever-busy Gusau-Funtua highway, kidnapping unspecified number of travelers. Yusuf Safei, a commuter who is still stranded around the area, told Global Television that the bandits stormed the highway at about 7 a.m. and mounted a roadblock around Tazame axis of the road. He stated that the bandits, in their large numbers with about 50 motorcycles each, carrying 3 persons, abducted unspecified numbers of travelers. At least 4,000 civil servants with the Kano State government, whose tenure was extended under the administration of former Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, are expected to retire on December 1st, 2024. The decision followed the reversal of the policy that allowed workers to continue in service beyond the conventional retirement age. The affected workers had been granted an extension to serve for an additional 5 years after reaching the retirement age of 60 or completing 35 years of service under a policy introduced by Ganduje. However, this extension was revoked by the Governor Abba Yusuf-led administration, reinstating the standard retirement rules. Aviation Workers Union have concluded plans to shut all airports across the country from September 18th. The strike notice was made known through a statement signed by the General Secretary of the National Union of Air Transport Employees, Ocheme Abba, and Deputy General Secretary of the Air Transport Services, Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Frances Akinjole. This is following the alleged refusal of the federal government to accede to their call for the reversal of the 50% deduction policy from the internally generated revenues of agencies in the aviation sector. Airstrikes from the air component of Operation Well Punch have killed several terrorists who attacked other security agents in the Shiroro local government area of Niger State. A statement by the Deputy Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Group Captain Kabiru Ali, said the operatives during the attack requested air support. The terrorists, over 100 in number, were said to have engaged operatives from other security agencies in a fierce gun battle. At least 414,000 people have been displaced and another 30 killed by the devastating flood in Maiduguri, Borno State capital. National Emergency Management Agency NEMA says the flood began after the Alao Dam overflowed following heavy rains, leading to what the United Nations Human Rights Refugee Council and Maiduguri Metropolitan Council residents call the town's worst flooding in 30 years. NEMA spokesman Manzo Ezekiel noted that the death toll had hit 30 and displaced persons close to 500,000. Meanwhile, President of the Senate, National Association of Nigerian Students, Afiz Akintaye, has expressed his deepest condolences to victims of the recent floods that swept through several parts of Maiduguri, Borno State capital. The group also called for long-term solutions to the crisis as it implored the federal government to create a comprehensive plan that will address the immediate needs of the displaced. As primary and secondary schools set to resume for first-term academic activities across Anambra State on September 17th, the state government has vowed to sanction no fewer than 2,000 unaccredited schools operating in the state. The State Commissioner for Information, Paul Umosu, in a press statement, stated that the affected schools risk closure if the operators do not obtain the necessary approvals and accreditation. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Dangiwa, has called on architects to address the mounting pressures of rapid rural-urban migration and unprecedented population growth. Dangiwa made this known at the 2024 ArchiBuild exposition organized by the Nigerian Institute of Architects, NIA, in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere has details.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Dangiwa, highlighted the urgent need for innovative and sustainable solutions in the face of challenges by rapid rural-urban migration.
Second, we are also making progress in our efforts to boost the local manufacture of building materials. Early this year, we set up building material manufacturing task team with the mandate to produce a blueprint for developing the sector and building 6 manufacturing hubs, one in each geopolitical zones of the country.
Former Vice President Namadi Sambu echoed the call for re-imaging cities as dynamic ecosystem. He proposed the establishment of a think tank of architects to provide the minister with practical, innovative solutions for sustainable and affordable housing.
We must commit to building sustainable and affordable buildings with materials that are sourced locally. In a nation blessed with abundant natural resources, it is imperative that we leverage these resources to create architecture that is both environmentally responsible and economically viable.
Earlier, the president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Mobolaji Adeni, explained that the exposition was aimed at showcasing cutting-edge products, ideas, and technologies poised to redefine built environment.
We also recognize the fact that the construction industry in Nigeria has been plagued with a multitude of problems, stemming from building collapses to the high cost of building materials and also an alarming deficit of skilled workers. All of this affecting our industry. However, these challenges, which are not just peculiar to our country alone, can be overcome by stakeholders in the built environment. financial institutions, manufacturers of building materials, relevant government agencies, and the academia.
The Minister of Housing further pointed out that African nations are struggling to keep up with the demand of a population projected to reach 2.5 billion by 2050, with Nigeria alone expected to contribute over 400 million. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Nigeria Center for Disease Control has advised health workers to always practice standard care precautions when caring for patients. The Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Olajide Idris, gave the advice while keeping journalists abreast with the situation report on monkeypox in Abuja. Global Television brings you details. Monkeypox is a rare viral zoonotic disease that can be transmitted from animals to humans and between humans. It is endemic in parts of Africa, especially in the tropical rainforest of Central and West Africa. The Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Dr. Olajide Idris, advised health workers as well as the public to avoid contact with animals that may carry the virus, including sick or dead animals in affected areas, as well as limit unnecessary physical contact with individuals who are infected.
We are having an increasing number of cases of Mpox in the country, confirmed. From the last time we said about 39, when it came about, now we have 67.
The Director General further advised health workers to ensure samples for testing are collected by trained personnel and sent to the NCDC, adding that all cases should be reported to the state epidemiologist or local government area public health department.
We are likely to be seeing increasing cases of those diseases again. So it is now incumbent on us to prepare now, to start preparing for situations and strategies that will not allow us to see as many of those cases as possible this next season.
He further urged health workers to be vigilant for symptoms of monkeypox, especially fever and rashes, and isolate suspected cases promptly and report them to relevant health authorities. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting. The Federal Ministry of Works has retired one of its finest directors, Engineer Adedamola Kuti, in the Highways Department. The event took place at the conference hall of the ministry with many dignitaries in attendance. Sharon Ajay was there for Global Television.
Engineer Adedamola Kuti, who started his career with the then Federal Ministry of Works and Housing on the 11th September 1989, now takes a bow as the Director, Highways, Materials, Geotechnics and Quality Control after serving the ministry for 35 years. While speaking on his experiences during his 35 years of service, Engineer Kuti acknowledged that his career has been filled with periods of significant progress as well as obstacles, notwithstanding the excitement of how far he has come.
A long journey, full of service to humanity, especially seeing some of the projects, the contracts I participated in, and that is making a lot of difference in people's lives. You know, when you see people happy, you also become very, very happy. And yes, full of ups and downs. You know, there were very, very rough times. And of course, there were also very, very good times.
Lots of congratulations and well wishes from family members, colleagues, and acquaintances poured out. They also expressed their love for him and offered prayers for a better retirement life.
This is the beginning of a new era for him in Jesus' name. He will move from glory to glory. God will do a new thing in his life and everybody will hear and rejoice with us in Jesus' name.
In this new chapter, I wish him success in it, and this is a well-deserved celebration.
And my prayer for him is that he will never retire unto death. He will have good long life, many good things that is yet to come. He will witness it.
Getting to this height is not easy. It is the grace of God that takes people to this level. And we thank God God that He's there. He's stepping up from here and stepping up to greater heights.
His service years saw him as a zonal leader, chief maintenance engineer, zonal coordinator, deputy director, and director. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Oyo State Police Command has confirmed the release of Benedict Akika, who was kidnapped from his residence by suspected gunmen in Idiakbe, Olorunda, Aba local government, located in Lagelu local government area of the state. The spokesperson for the command, Adewale Oshifesho, stated that the abducted People's Democratic Party chieftain was freed, on Wednesday. An undisclosed number of travelers have been reportedly kidnapped after armed bandits blocked the frequently traveled Gusau-Funtua highway. A commuter who is still stranded around the area, Yusuf Safi, made this known that the bandits stormed the highway the early hours of Thursday and mounted roadblocks around the Tazame axis of the road. According to Safi, the bandits in their large numbers, with about 50 motorcycles, each carrying 3 persons, abducted an unspecified number of travelers. You're watching News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Express returns, Kano government to retire 4,000 civil servants after policy reversal. Details of this and more after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. In business, petroleum marketers, refiners, and depot owners in Nigeria have called for the full deregulation of the downstream oil sector, seeking to end government price controls due to subsidies. The Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, in collaboration with the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, Crude Oil Refiners Association of Nigeria, African Refiners and Distributors Association, and Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, made this known during a webinar. The Central Bank of Nigeria has directed all payment service providers to route all transactions from point-of-sale terminals at merchant and agent locations, physical or electronic, through an approved CBN payment terminal service aggregator. It also issued a 30-day deadline requiring service providers to comply with enhanced routine guidelines for point-of-sale transactions. This move aims to strengthen the monitoring of electronic transactions across Nigeria and decentralized POS transaction routing, addressing concerns about the centralization of such transactions under a single entity. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has disclosed that 134 illegal refineries were destroyed in the past week. The NNPC also stated that 63 illegal pipeline connections were uncovered during the period. The Bank of Industry has donated relief materials to the National Emergency Management as part of its corporate social responsibility initiative. In a statement made available to the Managing Director of BOI, Olasupo Olushi, emphasized the bank's dedication to supporting vulnerable communities and promoting inclusiveness across Nigeria. Beneficiaries of the federal government's student loan scheme across the country have lamented the delay in the payment of the August monthly stipend. Some of the students, in separate interviews with our correspondents, expressed their disappointment in the payment delay. Report says that students can choose to apply for upkeep loan apart from institutional loans, which is paid directly to institutions. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says going forward, the federal government intends to deploy technology in the prevention and treatment of cancer across the country. He made this known in Abuja at the MedServ Oncology Summit 2.0, where stakeholders gathered to chart a course for Nigeria's efforts aimed at tackling the spread of cancer. Edu noted that technology is playing a key role not only in the financial sector, stating that the current effort of government is to deploy technology to see how to cure cancer. On the foreign scene, the United Kingdom government has announced its intention to nominate Dapo Akande, a professor of public international law at the University of Oxford, for election as a judge at the International Court of Justice in 2026. This was disclosed by Joanna Roper, the UK's ambassador to the Netherlands and representative to the ICJ, who confirmed that Akande's nomination will take place in 2026. Akande was previously elected to the United Nations International Law Commission in November 2021. The United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees says 6 of its employees have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a school it runs in central Gaza. Gaza's Hamas-run civil defense agency say 18 people were killed in a strike on Al-Joni school in Nuseirat refugee camp, which is being used as a shelter by thousands of displaced Palestinians. Israel's military say it carried out a precise strike on terrorists planning attacks from the school and that it had taken measures to avoid harm to civilians. Peru's former president Alberto Fujimori, who was convicted of human rights abuses and corruption, has died at age 86. Fujimori governed Peru between 1990 and 2000 before being forced from office amid allegations of corruption. His tough stance against a left-wing guerrilla insurgency while president also brought allegations of human rights abuses, but his supporters praised him for defeating the rebels at a time when they looked likely to seize power. He fled the country but was subsequently arrested and extradited before being convicted and jailed. His daughter, Keiko Fujimori, posted on social media to say the former president had died after a long battle with cancer. Malaysian police have rescued 402 children and teenagers that they suspect were physically and sexually abused across 20 care homes. The victims, aged between 1 to 17, were said to have endured various forms of abuse, with some allegedly forced to perform sexual acts on other children. Police have arrested 171 suspects, including religious teachers and caretakers. A man from the Republic of Ireland has been found dead in a police cell in Portugal. Police in Portugal say the 29-year-old man had been detained on suspicion of assault in Albufeira. The National Republican Guard, the Gendarmerie Force of Portugal, say he took his own life. He was found dead in his cell. A spokesperson said emergency services were called immediately, but he was declared dead at the scene. In sports, Nigerian football fans have taken to social media urging the Nigeria Football Federation to retain Augustine Eguavoen as the head coach of the Super Eagles following the team's recent impressive performances in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The team secured a convincing 3-0 victory against Benin Republic in Uyo before being held goalless by Rwanda in Kigali. Ghana's Black Stars are likely to host their remaining 2025 Africa Cup of Nations home qualifiers in Nigeria, according to multiple reports in the West African country. This followed the Confederation of African Football's rejection of their home venue, the Baba Yara Stadium in Kumasi. CAF's inspection team had deemed the stadium unsuitable for competitive matches, flagging the major structural concerns including poor drainage, uneven playing surfaces, and uneven grass cover. Nigeria international Rafael Onyedika is close to joining Turkish champions Galatasaray on a permanent deal, with reports that the player has agreed to a 5-year deal with the Turkish Super League club. With less than a week before the close of the summer transfer window in Turkey, Galatasaray have been very active in the transfer market, having made some decent signings to enable them to defend the league title they won last season. As we end the Global News Express, here's a quick look at some of our top stories. Anambra State government has issued warning to close 2,000 unaccredited schools. In business, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has said 134 illegal refineries have been destroyed in 7 days. On the foreign scene, Indian Communist leader Sitaram Yechuri has died following a protracted illness. And in sports, we told you Ghana's Black Stars have been scheduled to play AFCON qualifiers in Nigeria as Confederation of African Football rejects home stadium. That's it on the News Express, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We're on DSTV, channel 365, Star Times, channel 276, and free-to-air on Nigecomsat. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.